Hello, my name is Adeline Wyatt, and today I will be speaking about the absence of human rights in North Korea. Now, this is a touchy subject that took a lot of time and research, but I feel that I have prepared it well, and I am honored to be able to speak on this topic today. I will be hitting on 6 major points of human rights. The first being the government, media, religion, imprisonment, forced labor, and women's rights, and how all of this plays into fact with human rights. So to begin, on our first slide, we have government. The government of North Korea is run under a dictatorship by Kim Jong-un, who is pictured to your right. Kim Jong-un is the third predecessor of the lineage of dictators in North Korea. North Korea is also a socialist state, which means that the country is run by the government, not by the people. The third bullet point I have is pronounced Juche. It is a North Korean term that translates to self-reliance. Juche is an odd blend of several different ideas. It borrows much of its language from Marxism, but it also draws on Confucianism, 20th century Japanese imperialism, and traditional Korean nationalism. The core idea of Juche is that North Korea is a country that must remain separate and distinct from the world, dependent solely on its own strength and the guidance of a near godlike leader. The near godlike leader would be Kim Jong-un. The next term we have here is totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is a system of strict government that is centralized and dictatorial. It requires subservience to the state. And next we have one-party state. A one-party state, or a one-party system, as it has also been called, is when one political party has the right to form the government. So it's just up to the political party to form the government to take care of the country. And last but not least, we have unitary government. And a unitary government is when the system of political organization with a supreme government holds the authority over and makes the decisions for subordinate local governments. So an example of a unitary state would be the United Kingdom overseeing Scotland. That would be how it is in North Korea. Our next term is media control. Now, in North Korea, it has been known to be the tightest controlled media in the world because there's no outside media getting into North Korea, and there's no media from North Korea coming out. They don't know what's going on in the outside world, and we really don't know what's going on inside of their world. And this is due to the fact that North Korea, the state of North Korea, provides its own media about what's going on in the world, to the point where the media has portrayed to North Korea that North Korea has cured AIDS and even invented the hamburger, among many other wrong answers. So any news, entertainment, and information comes from the state media and the state media alone. It is so severe that citizens are imprisoned for reading, watching, or even listening to outside content from international media outlets. Next, we have freedom of religion. Now, the North Korean constitution does promise rights of faith or freedom of religion, except there really is no freedom of religion. This is because the whole country is taught to worship the Kim family. Being that it is a dictatorship with a godlike leader, that would make sense that it is portrayed that they must follow the Kim family, to the point where religious practice is forbidden of any kind and is considered a threat to the regime, to the point where it's just worshiping the Kim family. So there is no freedom of religion, and there's no freedom of speech in the government, There's not a lot of freedom really at all in this country. Here we have a picture of a concentration camp or prison camp in North Korea. This is an aerial shot because, well, we can't exactly get into North Korea to take pictures, and they're not exactly giving handouts of their country. These pictures are from surveillance aerial shots, and these camps have a lot of pretty much like concentration camp from World War II, have a lot of similarities. In these prisons, the inmates have been tortured, raped, and even executed for transgressions that are considered minor in the rest of the world. Even people who have escaped these camps have pretty much said that it was very close to what World War II used on the Jews and many others during World War II. Our next topic is forced labor. In North Korea, students are forced to work for free twice a year on farms for an entire month at a time. They pull students who are going for education of any age, force them to work for an entire month twice a year, and they don't even get paid. Some are even sent overseas without their consent to work under slave-like conditions. Terrible food, bad water, unclean water, and unclean living conditions. Majority of the workers' salaries are taken away from them by the state. This is a major source of income for the country. So pretty much by stealing their money is how the state becomes wealthy. And the money that they get from this is going to power nuclear missiles and other weaponry rather than help the food shortages and the fuel shortages, among other shortages that are going on in this country. Here we have women's rights. Now here in America, women have the right to vote, have the right to hold a job, have the right to be an equal and have equal opportunity for anything a man has here in America. At least that is what the goal is in the end. Now, in North Korea, women do have the right to hold an office in parliament. They do have the right to vote, but they are highly discriminated. They are so discriminated that they are deprived of education and even job opportunities. A woman who I have cited in my Works Cited page even quotes that women in North Korea cannot make it unless they are sold into any kind of sexual abuse or just sell themselves in general or raped in order to, that's how they make it there. Women are often tortured, they're raped, they're abused in any other form, and it is very common for women to be raped in the military by their commanding officer. So as an overview, I do not believe that North Korea has any human rights. If they had human rights, then there would be the right to vote. There would be the right to get on any kind of media site that they want. They'd have the right to practice their religion. They'd have the right to have at least a trial before being sent to prison. And they would get paid instead of being forced to work. And hopefully they would have equal rights for women. But instead, they are a socialist state with Kim Jong-un as their dictator. All media has to come from inside of North Korea. Nothing international, nothing goes into North Korea from anywhere else. There's no freedom of religion, and there are prison and concentration camps that imprison people for minor things like misdemeanors. There's forced labor with no pay and terrible working conditions, and there's no respect towards women and no gender equality. Here's my Works Cited page. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you about this topic that I feel very strongly about.